Hi, welcome to ASA Anatomy for Medical. What you want to do, you want to go to a pen the sphere, press E, scale it down, make sure your sphere is selected. The shortcut is Alt or Option click on the object, and then it will highlight that object. As you can see over here, switching to subtool sphere, and then go to the yellow box you have there, scale it down until it fits, move into place. Pressing F on your keyboard will zoom in that specific selected subtool. Let me just zoom out a bit. So the muscle we want to be starting with today, it's the biceps brachii. So the biceps brachii, it's divided into two parts, the short head and the long head. So the short head originates in the supraclinical tubercle of the scapula, and then their long head originates in the apex of the coracoid process of the scapula, and they both insert in the radial tuberosity. Moving back to ZBrush, you want to scale this down from the axes and then switch, then scale this down from the Z-axis, rotate, and do it until it fits, and then move this into place. Go back to your menu, go to geometry, go to Dynamesh, and then turn on Dynamesh. Up to your resolution, maybe 300, and then Q to switch to draw, S to scale this up, and then click on your mesh and then control command drag. What you want to do from here, press B, switch on to move topological or snake hook brush. I'm just going to use my shortcuts. Just a quick note, for ZBrush basics, ZBrush shortcuts and the interface, please refer to ASA Anatomy Introduction to ZBrush course. Okay, continuing. Page 6. I have my move topological selected. I'm just going to click and drag until I have that. When you lose topology, you can just control click, because we just make sure your Dynamesh is selected. Just make this 350, and let's close this by double tapping over here. I'm going to do the long head. Just going to drag it. Just going to drag it. And we remember where it inserts. It originates, at the apex of the coracoid process. The apex. It's the apex of the coracoid process. Okay, so I'm going to drag the second head. Stick drag. So let's go through our pony landmarks. Okay, back to ZBrush. So we have two processes over here where these heads will originate from. So it is very important to know your origins and insertions in order to know where to locate your muscles. Now, command click drag, starting from this muscle, we know it originates at this process over here. Which is the cortical process of the scapula. So this is the scapula and this is the cortical process. So not just anywhere but at the apex. So I just move that. I'm just gonna grab my inflate brush, just inflate that, and then just move that into place. And then now I can smooth it out. Then I'm going to drag my second head, which originates from the supraclinoid tubercle of the scapula, which is this part. Grab my inflate brush again, smooth that into place. Let's just up our resolution, probably to 450. Enter, close. And just move that into place. What I want to bring to your attention, this tendon of the short head moves in this groove of the humerus, so just make sure it's moving in that groove. Turning that upside down. Smoothing that into place. So far. Just make sure resolution is okay. Just going to drag this a tad. Sweet. Now, moving on to we're still going to fix the forms. Now, they both merge and then they insert at the radius at the radial tuberosity, which is this process over here. So I'm just going to move it into place. Just going to grab 5, and then I'm going to grab my inflate. That's 5. Okay. Now that we have our origins and insertions, we can come now with building the forms with the clay buildup brush. I'm just coming in with the clay buildup brush. My intensity very low. If you're getting these artifacts, just go to brush, auto masking, backface masking. If you're getting this pinching, because it's also taking the faces facing that side. B, inflate, and inflate this guy over there. Click command drag. Now what I want to do, I want to fix this 2 heads. So grab my diamond standard. Just smoothing that out. Just lightly. So go ahead. We have our basic shapes, basic forms. Once we have like all the other muscles, and then we can come in and finish everything. So go to rename and name our muscle, which is a biceps brachii. Just turn on all caps. Just do that again. Biceps, BIC, and then brachii. That's brachii. What you want to do now, go to geometry, zero measure, and then do a quick zero mesh. Basically turning off Dynamesh and then using. So by that we can, if you click Shift F, you can see the topology, and this is the topology we have. If it's too much for you, you can just click half and then zero mesh again. You can tab points. So that's not bad. just moving it into place. Shift F, and that's what we have. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab my pinch brush, which is somewhere here. Oh, I'm just gonna grab from here. Just gonna pinch everything closer together, and then I'll try to re-dynamish everything. If I'm getting too much topology, press half and then re-dynamish everything again. So this is what we have. So now you can come in anytime. We grab the plate, set it over here, and over here. If we isolate this, now we can come in and you see. Try zero mesh it again, or we might get cleaner topology. So here's our biceps. Show everything. Let's do a copy of this. What I'm going to do for us to work very clearly, because we're doing only the upper limb, I'm going to alt click the skeleton, Control Shift click, Control Shift Command. I'm just going to hide the internal organs because we're not needing it now. And then Control Shift click drag to switch selections, and then click Control Shift Alt click or Option click and just pick the elements you want to hide. And I'm just going to click Control Shift Command Alt click drag to hide that. And if I click Control Shift or Command Shift click drag, it's gonna hide the ones I was viewing and then show these ones. I'm just gonna hide these ones. Just gonna turn up symmetry, and then I'm gonna hide this. Now we only have the arm in our view. Alt click drag. So what we want to do now is we want to do a copy of this. So what I'm going to do, the shortcut is Control Shift D or Command Shift D. There's our copy. What we can do with this guy, we can move on to our next muscle. Go down. So our next muscle for this lesson, it is underneath the biceps brachii. It is a brachialis. So we're going to go to a rename and name our muscles. BRACHIA ALIS, brachialis. Moving back, so you can't see it now because it's on top of each other. If I click, go down, geometry, dynamish, and then click dynamish. Now what we're gonna have, if I click isolate, and if I click Command Shift drag, delete this, and then Shift Control Shift Alt and then drag to hide it, and then go to your geometry, modify topology, delete hidden. So what was hidden is now deleted. So if I dynamish, It's gonna close everything again. So our brachialis, show everything again. I'll check this. I want to make room for our brachialis. And then brachialis. I'm just going to move it with W. Just get it down its head. Just get it down its head. Take that into place. Grab our move topological, because it shows on the side. That's where it pops. Press 5, move brush. So the brachialis muscle originates at the anterior aspect of the distal half of the humerus. So this is the distal half of the humerus. This is the humerus bone. So just need to redefine our origin. Smoothing that out. So it originates somewhere here at the distal half of the humerus. Come on, take that. And then it inserts at the tuberosity of the ulna. This is your ulnar bone, and here's the tuberosity, so somewhere at the bottom. So it normally shows from this side. The hand isolates everything. Just gonna so it's like a short muscle. If I choose inflate, just inflate it at its head, because it's not that thing. And then just gonna move it, just move into place, smoothing it out. And just smoothing it into place. Just smoothing it out. You can come in anytime with our inflate brush and just inflate at the sides and just re-animate everything again. You must just be careful of the forms, because it bulges out at the side, so you may just need to emphasize that. So our next muscle, what we're going to do, it's the coracoid brachialis. It's a little muscle over here. So what you want to memorize is these muscles actually explain themselves, like the coracoid, we have the coracoid process of the scapula. So the coracoid process, so the muscle originates from the coracoid process, and it's coracoid brachialis. So it inserts at the middle third of the middle aspect of the humerus. The medial aspect, the middle third of the middle aspect of the humerus. So it's also some over here. So what we're gonna do again, show more of these. Go back to, we want to duplicate this, so we're gonna use shortcuts. Again, Control Shift D or Command Shift D. We have a copy. Go to rename, and then name our muscle coracoid. So it's coracoid brachialis. Brachialis. Cool. So Cobrachialis. Brachialis. Let's enter. And then E to move this in place. Just move quickly here. And grab my move brush. So cortical process of the scapula. And at the medial third of the humerus. I'm gonna do, just gonna move muscle a bit, and then this feet in place. Come on, just smooth that out a tad. And then that's what we have. So what we want to do now is we want to do what we done for the rest of the muscles. Let's go back to the brachialis. Go to zero measure and then zero measure everything. Let's just wait for it. Once everything is done, just double check our mesh. So below too dense, press half and then zero mesh. Okay. Go back to the brachialis, the coracoid brachialis. And then we just want to fix these forms. I'm going to grab my inflate brush, smooth, inflate, smooth. Smooth. And I'll grab my methodological, just going to move that onto satisfied with the forms. Just going to move that into place. Smoothing that out. Just coming in. What I want to is just get it from this side. Once you have something like that, I can go to zero measure and then zero measure everything again. So we have these muscles of the upper limb. Now let's do our lost muscles. I'm just going to click this. Just going to make sure that it actually bulges out, because it does. And then I'm going to inflate. Just a tad. And I'm going to select everything. I'm going to move this muscle. This 5, just move it up a bit so that it's not intersecting. Not that it matters much, but then just make sure it's lying underneath. So there we have our 3 muscles. Let's do our last muscle for this class. Same technique. What I'm going to do, we have my muscle selected. I'm going to do a duplicate. Let me duplicate this one, the brachialis. Shift command or D. Make sure we have our copy. If you see the one here, there's our copy. We're going to rename it this again to our muscle. So we're doing the last muscle, which is a triceps brachii. Just rename triceps brachii. Move this down if you want to. Then go to your geometry, data mesh, and then turn this button on. Pressing E on your keyboard, move this back, just moving the arrows, placing it in place, and then just leaving it here for now. Going through our triceps, we have 2 heads, 3 heads actually. That's why it is called triceps. So tri is 3, bi is 2. So biceps 2 heads, triceps 3 heads. That's how to remember it. These heads consist of the triceps brachii longus, triceps brachii medius, and the triceps brachii lateral. So we have a lateral head, long head, and the medial head. And there's this tendon we also going to go through, which is called the biceps brachii tendon, which all of these heads, they join to this tendon, and it attaches here at the anacronum. So starting with the triceps brachii longus, which is the long head, I'm going to grab my move topological, this time. So it originates at the infraclinotubercle of the scapula. So infra, this supra, so it's at the bottom here. The infraclinotubercle. smooth that in place, and I'll grab my snake hook brush. We just wanna do the, so moving on to the next so once we have our insertion, our origin, I mean, I can just come in with the, before we move on to the another head, just wanna make sure everything is correct. Just something that we can see. So moving on to the next head. We have the lateral head, which is lateral, so there's medial, lateral. Lateral, it's away from the middle part, so it's more off to the side. So it's a lateral head, which comes from this side. So I'm just gonna grab my snake hook, drag my lateral head, switch off to move topological, click and drag to dynamish. Originates at the posterior surface of the humerus, superior to the radial groove. We remember the radial groove, so it's superior to that. Just gonna move that. Just gonna make sure everything lines up. Then I'm gonna inflate again, and then I'll leave that for now. What this muscle does, it's gonna create these forms. With my clay, and then it inserts at the olecranon, which is this elbow process over here. The olecranon of the ulna, this is the ulnar bone, this is the olecranon, this part over here. So that's where it inserts. So I'm just gonna drag it. I'm gonna grab my move brush, just gonna drag everything into place. Dynamish. Just make sure everything lines up. Just gonna hide everything. Just gonna grab my inflate, inflate dynamish, smooth that out, move brush. I'm gonna grab my show everything. So this, just making sure it's at the right place. So this tendon over here, which is called the triceps brachii tendon, This is where all the long head and the lateral head and the medial head, which is underneath, will merge together to you at this tendon over here. So emphasize that. So we're just gonna do one mesh for now, but in our study we know we have this tendon and we have the separation of the two muscles, which is the long head and the lateral head, and then if we come in with a build-up, we can emphasize those into our liking. Just coming in with the build-up. And then this tendon is almost flat and straight, so we're just going to smooth that out until everything is in place. Once you have the two heads, we can just come in. So that's the long head. Slants us down a bit, so it creates the shape to it. So emphasize that. Just making sure that we have that. So we can come in at any time to fix these forms. What I'm going to do for now, I'm just going to go to same process, zero measure. Make sure this half button is clicked and then zero mesh everything. Okay. Or what I was, let me isolate this. I just wanted clean topology so I can get an understanding. Okay, so what are we gonna do next? We're gonna add our medial head. So to add our medial head, I'm going to take this brachialis because it's kind of close to what we're looking for. Just make sure everything is. Now duplicate again with our shortcuts. Move this into place. Scale this guy down. Go to Dynamesh, turn this button on, and then I'm going to isolate. Hide that. Modify topology, delete hidden, click and drag, show everything, and then I'm just gonna smooth it out, and then just move into place. So this is our medial head. I'm not gonna rename it because we still wanna merge everything with the triceps, so it's just for us to get an understanding of how everything is laying out. So sometimes you can see it from here, and then it joins with the rest. So I'm gonna grab my inflate, just inflate that guy tag, just isolate him, smooth him out, data mesh, show everything, and just smooth everything again. Just make sure everything is connected before we merge. Just gonna click here. Just make sure we have our so what this muscle does over here on top, kinda like an indent. It's a bit too harsh, but it's like an indent. So these are the forms of the muscles which are hard to identify on a textbook. So once you have that, just going to move this into place. Grab this guy. If you can't click, just switch around or just go back to your subtool menu. We have our tricep selected. Just go back to the copy. Just going to isolate everything and bring it back. Okay, not being too picky. Just gonna come in, and then we have our middle here. So what you want to do, just make sure it's at the bottom of the triceps. Click on the triceps brachii, go to merge down, press OK. Now we have two objects. If I go to, let me isolate this. If I click Dynamesh, just to merge them, so we won't have any projects. Oh, project, not polish. So you can still have those edges. Shift F, and then go to zero measure, and then zero mesh everything again. Now we have our triceps brachii. Showing everything. So we'll leave it here for now for this class. What I can do for now, I can just come in and move this. We'll fix this in our next class. So this normally bulges out on the side there. right hands. Okay, so these are the muscles we have for today. Okay, thank you guys for your time, and I hope you guys grab something out of this. I'll see you guys on the next class where we will be doing the lower arm, which has a lot of muscles. So enjoy, study more, and let's study an anatomy together. Thank you guys for your time. It's Essay Anatomy for Medical. Bye.